What is going on out there, everyone? My name is Myles Farrington, and we are here. Me and my co-hosts. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Adam Leonard.
And Jordan Loeffler.
We are here to bring you episode 141 of the MONG podcast, Settling the Score. I'm dying. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the weekly highlights from the site. What's going on, Editor-in-Chief?
Alright, so we've got Brett's Destiny Rise of Iron review. It's out there right now. Hitman Episode 5 by Riley Berry. The review of that is there. We've got Harry's editorial for his impressions of Final Fantasy 15 at New York City Comic Con. In fact, Harry's been doing a few things at New York City Comic Con. He's doing some coverage there for us right now. So thank you, Harry.
Thanks for representing, Harry. Is that that's the whole of it? Cool.
That's what we got.
All right, well, check out that review for Rise of Iron. Spoilers, it's good. That's my opinion, not Tyler's, right?
No, it was Brett.
Brett. Tyler writes everything, so I just assume whenever I hear about a story, it's Tyler's. But yeah, also, speaking of writing everything, if you would like to write with the MONG crew, or if you'd like to join us in some other capacity, whatever you think might be helpful to us, feel free to check out the application form at the bottom of this, wherever you're listening to or watching this at. There should be a link to it. You can apply there, even if you don't think your skills will be needed. Still, give it a try. Who knows? Good things come to those who try. You'll never make the shot if you don't take it. That one? Any of those sayings work. But anyway, yeah. Check that out. We'd love to have you on our team. Our team is full of good people. So yeah, if you're a gamer, or even if you're not, I guess if you want to make videos and whatever, just try it out. It'd be cool. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the other part where we talk more about things that happen to us during the week, because that's life. So, yeah, what's going on with you all?
Yeah, all right. Normally you pointedly ask somebody, but we'll just kind of go ahead and... I've just been playing... I've been doing actually several things. I watched a bunch of Luke Cage. I'm not done yet, but I've indeed watched some Luke Cage. I've been playing Witcher. I'm finally on the actual DLC, so I'm finally to the point of why I'm playing again. So now hopefully I can wrap that up.
Nice.
Picked up Mafia 3. Just at the very beginnings of it, but the story seems absolutely fantastic and probably actually kind of deep and important.
Cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also got a redesigned PlayStation controller, so that's cool too.
Ooh.
Oh,
Do
cool.
you have it next to you? There we go. We can see the light bar. Hey.
Beautiful.
Are there any other noticeable changes, or is it pretty much just that?
The impression I get, it just feels a little bit smaller.
Okay. That's weird.
So it's kind of more PS3.
It just feels like it's been trimmed up a little bit. That's kind of the overall impression I've got. The big reason I picked it up is because it can actually direct connect to the PS4. I've been having some issues, but I live in an apartment complex where I've been getting some connectivity issues due to just other wireless stuff going on. So now I've finally got something that will operate directly with my PS4.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
Yeah. And which DLC? Which Witcher DLC are you working on? Blood and Wine or Hearthstone?
I'm on Heart of Stone right now.
Okay. Nice. I enjoyed that DLC. I thought what's his name? Olgierd? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I thought he was a cool character.
Yeah, I'm just kind of at the beginning. I've only met up with him once, but we're about to go back that way.
Good. I won't ruin anything then.
Yeah.
Jordan, what's been going on in your week?
Did a little bit of Metal Gear. Just kind of doing forward operating base missions, just kind of invading other people's bases and stuff. A little bit for the hell of it, a little bit just to see if I can, be successful at it. I'm getting some money for it, and I'm upgrading crap and doing that whole thing. So a little bit of that, although I kind of backed off of it a little bit while I was doing Persona 4. I've been doing a lot more Persona lately, and I was kind of thinking it was going to be more of a chore to go back to it, but I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to on the second playthrough. So
good. You think it's going to be one of those games you like replay every few years, or you think this is just a special I'm getting hyped for 5 thing?
I think it's a special I'm getting hyped for 5 thing. I don't really tend to replay games like every year or anything like that. I've played a very select few games, like multiple times. Even Metal Gear Solid, like I've really only played through completely one time. So.
See, it's interesting because I guess I kind of feel slightly differently about it. I wouldn't play, like, I think every year's a little bit excessive, but Persona 4 is definitely something I could probably see myself coming back to multiple times. You know, at probably several year intervals.
Sure.
Sounds good. I think everyone should have that game. I don't have it, but, you know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick by that statement.
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of at this point, it's kind of true if you own a Vita, it's like $20 now. I mean, like, it's among the best $20 you could ever possibly spend as far as game quality.
Yeah, honestly, when I got my Vita, or when I got my, what is that? I think I'm on my 3rd Vita, I think. Not because they break, because I buy them really wanting to play something, realize I don't really want it, and then trade it in.
Sure.
But, yeah, when I bought my current Vita, I think I picked up the One Piece game, I picked up Freedom Wars, and I picked up Persona 4, and the only one of those games I still own is Persona 4. It's not even that I play it, because, like, I haven't picked it up in a month or two, but, you know, the other two were like, yeah, this was fun for a while. Freedom Wars was a lot of fun, but I need an actual team to play that. That was back in the day when Lou and Courtney were still here, so I thought I was going to play with them. And they're like, yeah, we're really high level, get up to our level. I'm like, well, I got really far. I got to the one point where no one really wants to help you because it's just a horrible mission. So
let me ask you about that, because I actually have Freedom Wars on my Vita, and it's taking up a lot of space on my Vita right now, and every once in a while I think about trying to install something else, but I'm like, well, no, I've still got Freedom Wars. Is it really worth my time spending like more time pushing through to it, or is there going to be a point where I'm going to have to eventually taper off because I have to do nothing but multiplayer to get farther?
I don't know if that's everyone's experience, but that's what I got. Like, I was really enjoying it for a good long while. Like, I think I got at least to the halfway point in the game, and I was actually having fun because, like, I like the crafting. I always want a new Monster Hunter to come out on PS4 so I can play that. And this was like that, but futuristic, you know, with probably a little bit less tuning, but still fun. And yeah, I got to a point where it was just like, I literally cannot do this on my own. Like, even with the AI characters, I cannot do this without other intelligent people who know what they're actively trying to do and not just running around taking, like, oh, kill this, or et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, you'll probably get to a point where it's not even worth it to play unless you have teammates.
Is there an actual, like, does the story develop at all? Does it actually have, like, a decent through-line story, or is it just basically go do the mission, go kill the thing?
I think that's pretty much the gameplay structure it keeps. Go do the mission, kill the thing. But the story was developing at where I was in the game. But I hadn't really gotten far enough to really be able to say, yes, it's going to be good, or no, it's going to be bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's definitely one that I really want to get back into. I still have it. I actually have a physical copy, so it's not taking up space on my Vita. So it's always going to be there for me, I feel like. But yeah, I from what I understand, once you get to a certain point, for pretty much everyone, it's you need to have someone to help you. Otherwise, you're not really gonna get anywhere.
Yeah. I wish I had a PlayStation Plus that 1 month that was free, because then I would offer to play with you all. But as it stands, I don't have any money.
I might just admittedly wind up clearing it out of the way and like finally playing like Gravity Rush, which
yeah, that'd probably be a better time investment, honestly.
Because I just don't know why I've not played that game yet.
Yeah, I haven't played it either. I was thinking about getting the remastered version, but
oh sure,
yeah.
I might have a bit of a dissenting opinion on Gravity Rush. I don't know. I didn't really enjoy it that much.
You are no longer welcome on this podcast, young Leffler.
I mean, I got it while there was still a free games like collection for the Vita.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first games I played on the Vita, and like it was interesting, but I really wanted to like it, but I just couldn't get into it for some reason. Like the story seemed where I was, at least the story seemed very very thin, and the gameplay seemed to be the king, and I just didn't really care about the gameplay.
Remember, boys and girls, the views and opinions of Jordan Loeffler are not necessarily the views and opinions of the MONG podcast.
It's true. There are 3 views and opinions here. But yeah.
We love you, Jordan.
I don't. I'm kidding. But yeah, for me, still trying to get the streaming thing going. I think I got all the tech done. I just need to get an audience, and that's pretty much the bit there. So I've been playing a lot of Destiny still. I think I'm going to do a couple things I need to get done tonight, and then switch over to Binding of Isaac, because that's fun to play. But I did want to mention something. I don't play this game. This isn't an endorsement for the game, because I just didn't really enjoy it. That's because I don't like MMOs, though. But have either of you seen the Star Wars The Old Republic Knights of the Eternal Throne Betrayal trailer?
Yep.
I caught part of it, yeah.
I just want to say, like, even if you don't, as long as you like Star Wars, even if you, and I'm talking to our audience, even if you don't want to play the game, I would still watch their cinematics, because, God, are they gorgeous and really, like, there's a compilation of all 4 of them, because I was actually surprised the game's been out so long, but there's only, like, 4 major pretty cinematics. There's a compilation of all 4 of them on YouTube. It's all of 23 minutes, and it's just, I sat there and watched it with a friend, and I was just like, they need to just make the movie, they need to use these in the movies. This should be the movies, because it's just, like, it's so good. And, like, the most recent one, Betrayal, was just like, I don't know who any of these characters are, but I've seen the cinematic, like, 3 times, because it's gorgeous, it's fun to watch, it's got, like, really good Star Wars action with lightsaber battles and junk. And I'm just like, oh, this is so nice. I enjoy seeing these when they come out, even though I hate the game.
It was really pretty and well made. It just kind of made me depressed a little bit. It just made me really want like an actual KOTOR 3, which is never going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they're basically
It'll
forever.
Happen.
You think it'll happen?
I think when the Old Republic eventually is laid to rest, I think it'll happen.
I hope it happens, because I think they would make like a lot of money. It seems like it's like a natural shoe-in.
Yeah, just kind of on that topic, like, it should be noted that the cinematics are like in no way indicative of what the gameplay is like.
No. Not the gameplay or the graphics.
Yeah, I played the Old Republic like up until the 2nd level cap, I think, and I enjoyed my time with the game, but like it's not much different from any other MMO. And much like every other MMO, there are awesome, pretty cinematics that are not indicative of the gameplay. Although, I do have to agree with you, Myles, like, these cinematics are very gorgeous.
Yeah.
The big compliment I'd probably give Old Republic is I did feel like the writing and story structure were just like a slight notch above like most MMORPGs, and that was definitely BioWare's kind of signature touches on it. Yeah. I also really dug like the way like the group missions, like I like the fact that like people could like everybody could input what they want to say, and then it would like randomize like the different party members talking, and I thought that was kind of neat. It kind of made that was cool. But you pass that, yeah, it was kind of like a standard MMO.
Yeah. I know the big thing that got a lot of people about it was just the fact that every line was voice acted, which is honestly kind of that's a big undertaking. That's really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not to sell the game short. It's just I don't like MMOs personally, but
I think that's part of the reason why it's kind of gotten some flack for having smaller expansions. I mean, it takes a lot to release all that content. So
yeah, but yeah, so you know if anyone wants to spend 6 minutes watching something really pretty that has good action and is, I mean, not really a story to go with it. I mean, well, yeah, it had a pretty solid arc, actually. Yeah. For like 6 minutes, it had a solid arc of like, oh, I don't know who these people are, but I can follow what's happening. So it's actually worth watching. So there you go. Let's go ahead and jump into the news. Why not? Let's open this because I forgot to last time. Or this time.
The news from nowhere.
There we go. So the first piece of news this week is Phil Spencer. Spinther. Jesus, we're already starting off.
Spinther.
He's a Pokemon now. Phil Spinther. So he has said not to worry about Xbox Scorpio's price. I'm gonna have to get used to not reading these first lines in IGN articles because it just says the same thing over again. There we go. In an interview with NZ Gamer, Spencer said Microsoft designed the Xbox One S and Scorpio in parallel and thought about the price performance of what we wanted to hit with the Scorpio relative to what we are going to be able to do with the S. As such, Microsoft aims to offer the consumer, a quote, a good price continuum so people wouldn't look at these two things as so disconnected because of the price delta. I don't like how he talks. Spencer went on to say that he thinks Xbox Scorpio will feel like it's a premium product, a premium console, and not anything more than that. Because of this, the Xbox boss said people shouldn't be worried that the thing is going to be unlike any console price you've ever seen, as they didn't design it that way. He also highlighted the different hard drive size options currently available for the Xbox One S and how that product line is a good indication of what we can expect from the company going forward. Spencer also spoke to whether or not Xbox Scorpio will have 4K physical disk drive, saying that while they've seen a great adoption of it with the S, Microsoft is yet to confirm what type of drive will be featured in the Scorpio. Those are kind of decisions that can kind of bind later that what the drive is. He explained, adding that it has been really great to see how people have responded to the S, and it seems like we would want to continue to ride that option. So I'm going to say 3 things real quick. I burnt my tongue like 10 minutes before we started, so that could be why I'm flowing up so bad. 2, I did not know what Phil Spencer looked like, so I learned something with this article. And 3, even with my burnt tongue, I do not like his speech patterns. It's really annoying trying to read what he's saying. But, about the article anyway, that's good to know, because I know everyone was like debating on what the price was going to be. I know some people were like, it's going to be $800. All those teraflops, which I thought was a little out there, but still, it's good to hear that they're like actually thinking like, oh, we saw how badly Sony shot themselves in the foot with the PS3 being $600. We don't want to do that again, or we don't want to go too far above that if we have to even meet that point.
Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, it kind of felt like he said a lot of nothing and a lot of words.
This is also true.
I think he pretty much said what needed to be said at this point, which is that, they aren't going to blow it out of the water, that they are smart, essentially, about this sort of thing. They're not going to give the market something that it's not going to be able to handle. And I think that's... people have been concerned about the price. And it's a good thing that they have finally gotten out ahead of that long before the Scorpio even releases. So, just kind of damper expectations just a little bit.
Yep. So, hey, there we go. Phil Spencer. God, Phil Spencer, master of saying a lot of words and not saying much, but saying just what he needs to say. Jesus Christ, my tongue.
Sounds like you spent like the week over in Spain between episodes.
That would probably be a nice vacation, but no.
Yes, it would.
Speaking of Spain, I'm pretty sure at least one of these games took place in Spain.
Probably. Resident Evil's 7 VR mode could be PlayStation exclusive for a year. With just a week to go before the launch, cellophane is ripped off the PlayStation VR. A Facebook advert suggests that virtual reality headset has bagged a significant timed exclusive deal. A post promoting the VR mode of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard was spotted by a Reddit user who noticed at the bottom of the Facebook advert that it reads, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard coming 2017 and exclusive to PlayStation VR for 12 months. The advert clearly marks the Resi Evil 7 as PSVR. Clearly marks Resi Evil 7.
No, that's not becoming a thing.
No, that is not. As a PSVR exclusive. Should be noted this exclusivity appears to apply only to the VR version of the game. Those wishing to play the vanilla version of Capcom's latest survival or installment will be able to still play on Xbox One and PC. Capcom has not yet made a formal announcement on which virtual reality platforms will receive Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. That's a really long title. I'm glad we just call it Resident Evil. But a timed exclusive deal with a PSVR could beef up the headset's lineup at a time where competition between rivals is fierce. If PSVR is indeed receiving a timed exclusive, the deal will end roughly around the same time that Microsoft will be launching its Xbox Scorpio console. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has confirmed that Scorpion will have the capability to pack a virtual reality technology. Could Biohazard's VR mode be one of the first games to launch on the new console headset? This is cool. I think this is kind of understatedly a big deal, especially for potentially the success of the fledgling PlayStation VR, because here comes the first game to market, first known AAA franchise to market, offering a full game VR experience. I mean, I know that we're getting like Arkham, the Arkham VR, but that's supposed to be like an hour. I wouldn't count that.
Yeah.
And so this could potentially be a big deal for the beginnings of virtual reality, because I guess this is the first known property saying that you're going to be able to play our full game VR. And the fact that it's going to be on Sony PlayStation, on PlayStation VR exclusive, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, when this was debuted to be for PlayStation VR, there was a little bit of question as to whether or not it was exclusive or not, which may have been, probably was purposeful. But I kind of had no doubt that it was going to show up on other VR, VR
Sure.
hardware. I mean, spending this kind of money on a VR experience, to be both VR and normal game, it would make no sense to have it on just one platform. So it's interesting that they are. Well, I mean, it makes sense since PlayStation has been marketing the shit out of PlayStation VR, that they would want to be on that marketing boat, which I'm sure is part of the deal for this 12-month exclusivity. So in the long run, it'll probably be really good for Resident Evil. But yeah, not super surprised.
Yeah. I don't know. I was kind of thinking, I feel like the PlayStation VR, I feel like that one might sell the best. And I'm not basing this off of anything solid or concrete. I just feel like, considering its price point and the accessibility of it, there's no... I say this every time we talk about VR. No having to get a nice computer. No having to get monitors. No having to get anything. Just you go to a store, just I need a VR experience that's ready to go. They're like, okay, here's a PlayStation 4 and here's a PlayStation VR.
Right.
There you go. I feel like that is a good move for Resident Evil, because they're like, this is probably the platform that is going to be the most adopted, at least right now, until space and other things become more accessible. So yeah.
I think it'll be very interesting to see how it does, because I think this is going to be the great question that I think no one can doubt that that virtual reality is probably going to work well in small doses. But the actual concept of playing a full-on, potentially 20 to 30 hour game in VR, it'll be interesting to see how well that goes.
Especially a horror game.
Yeah, that's that's going to be a lot of high nerves to kind of immerse yourself in.
I feel like those are the two genres that are going to be thriving the most on VR: shooters and horror, because those are the two things that you want to have up in your face and have that full experience. Shooters because you can turn around, look around, all that, and horror because everyone likes to be scared.
Hell, I mean that's
what I'm interested.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jordan.
I was just going to say, what I'm interested in is, so Resident Evil has always been a third-person game. I'm not wrong about that, right? I'm pretty sure it's always been a third-person game.
No, I think you're right.
And, it's kind of the same issue that I had with PT, which was that Silent Hill has always been a third-person game. So it's interesting how we're taking something that's traditionally a third-person game and trying to turn it into a VR experience, which you would expect to be a first-person game. It's maybe one of the first AAA titles that we see that is turning a game into a VR game into a third-person experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we going to be playing it in first person? That's my question. Or are we playing it in third person? If we're playing it in third person, then why play it in VR?
I assume you're playing it in first person because the demo was in first person, was it not?
Yeah, but it's hard to know if the demo is an actual part of the game, or that might just be like something specifically developed for VR. I think they're purposely being a little obtuse about it. I think that they very specifically haven't really addressed what that full game experience is going to be like.
I think. Go ahead, Myles.
I was just gonna say, to be fair, there's a few VR games that are in third person.
So, like major games, though?
I just muted myself to look it up. Let me look it up. Keep talking.
Okay. No, so I mean, I'm wondering if they decide to do a first-person version of a Resident Evil game, there are likely going to be a lot of hardcore fans who are going to lash back at that. I don't think it's going to be very popular amongst the classic fans, or traditional fans, excuse me. It could also be really interesting if it's a third-person game outside of VR and a first-person game in VR, which would also create a really strange duality. And also, I don't know how you would develop that game, but I'm really interested to see how this game comes out. I want to know what it's going to be and how it's going to look in VR.
I don't know how much work it takes, but I think first person versus third person is definitely possible. I mean, it's worth noting that Grand Theft Auto for next gen did it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of what I suspected. I always my suspicion was that it's going to be it's going to be kind of standard if you're playing it without VR, but first person if you are. And that way, I think that's almost the best way to go, because then nobody can complain, because if you don't like the first person way, you could just play it the old traditional way.
True.
Yep.
Very true.
Myles, did you come up with anything?
The one game that I thought there was more than one, but the one game that I was thinking about is called Chronos.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like a first party thing. Apparently, it's really good, but I haven't. It's not first party, but it is third person. I'm gonna watch a video about it later because I hadn't done that yet.
Cool. I guess my only question, and it's going to be something that we're going to have to come across at some point, is are VR titles going to be in third person? And if so, what is that going to be like? I mean like an adventure game. We're talking open world, or something where you're going to have where you usually have control of the camera or something. What is that going to look like?
I kind of imagine that probably, at least what I suspect is that probably because in most of those third person games you have two joysticks, one of which controls a movement, one controls a camera. I think essentially joystick that controls a camera go away, all of a sudden your head does that function.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I could see a kind of marrying kind of strategy with adventure. Your character, you control your character, but also you have the ability to look around. You'd be looking around your character's surroundings, so you could better plan out what you want to do. So maybe it's a game kind of like MGS, where you're not a tank, you can't just run and gun on everything. You have to actually be skillful and plan out your tactics, because then that would work really well with that. It's I can see there's 5 people ahead of me and they're all looking in certain directions, so I'm going to throw a rock to distract them, etc. Stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else is interesting? Remastered Uncharted's getting split, I guess.
I wasn't expecting you to read that aloud. This news comes from Jeffrey Matulef on Eurogamer. He says, Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection wonderfully remastered Naughty Dog's groundbreaking treasure hunting adventure trilogy back when it was still a trilogy, but it was rather costly if you were only interested in 1 or 2 of the collected titles. That's arguable, but okay. That won't be a problem come 16th November in Europe, as Sony will still start selling each remastered entry a la carte. What we don't know is the price point. Chances are it will still be a lot cheaper to purchase the Nathan Drake collection, especially as the anthology has come down in price since its release last October. And I think right now this is in European money system. But I think right now it's still at $40 for all three. I might be wrong about that. But still, the individual titles might be worth it if you just want to play one of the games. But which one? Uncharted 2 is a fan favorite, but our Oldie Welsh seemed particularly fond of Uncharted 3 upon reassessing the series, while they are the rare holdouts who still favor the original adventure above all. So I find this kind of interesting, just because I can't imagine wanting to buy just one of them. Like, it seems to me like you would want to own all of them. But what do you guys think? Would you want to buy a single one, or would you rather have all three? Do you already have all three?
I think it's kind of weird.
I mean, yeah, if it's supposed to be a collection, I guess that's kind of odd, especially since these are the remastered ones, and there's no way to get any of them outside the collection, right? I mean,
what do you mean?
Like
right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right now, there's no way to get any of the remastered editions outside of the collection. So yeah, I guess if you've played them before, like you played them on the original consoles, and there was one you just really didn't like, I can understand it. And personally, I feel like everything should be sold a la carte because I like Steam, where like everything is like you can pick and choose as you want. You can, if you don't want this, you don't have to get it. But if you want everything, we have like a discounted price. I also still think like online stores for games need to have the discounted price because that would be really nice. Because Steam kind of blows everybody out of the water. But yeah, it is kind of weird. But I guess someone out there was like, I really hated 3. 3 was the worst. 3 burned my crops and killed my family. I don't want 3 in my household or something. I don't know. So yeah.
I guess, I just kind of like leave it. For me personally, I can't imagine like owning just one of them. Like, I'm kind of a weird collector. So having just one would drive me crazy. Like, if I had like the second one and the other ones, be like, no, incomplete.
The precious. But you can keep your daydreams of collecting things because Google unveils Daydream View VR device. Hey, it looks kind of bad, honestly.
Hey, that's nice.
Consumers aren't exactly flocking to VR technology quite yet. I don't think that's true. But that's not stopping Google from entering the VR arms race. The Daydream View allows users to access VR from their phones like a more advanced version of Google Cardboard. Because pretty much anything is a more advanced version of Google Cardboard. Google previously announced its plans for the new device, but only unveiled the product during a live event today. That was earlier this week when Google was doing their live event and revealed the new phone and all that good stuff. The Daydream View is more of a competitor to the Gear VR rather than the complete platforms like Vive, Rift, and PSVR. It costs about $80 and can be used with multiple Daydream-ready phones and is slated to release in November. The patterning on the outside of it looks like the floor, like carpet that you would see at like a dentist's office. That is my review.
I was thinking more like sweater material. Like, all I could think of is like, are you supposed to wear it while you work out? I don't understand.
Ugh. Yeah, that sounds great. Just to have you take off the lenses, just sweat just pours out of it. It's just like, oh, this was a horrible decision.
I can see people jogging down the street with this thing on their face.
Just face planting over a trash can or something.
It looks like it's made out of sweat pant.
You're right.
Exactly.
You're definitely right. So that's our review of what it looks like. I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone's really chomping at the bit to get the phone VR experiences.
No.
Yeah.
And also, like, $80 makes me think. I think I mentioned it on here, but I was in Best Buy and like put on a cheap VR experience at one point, and it seriously makes me think that it's going to be something similar to that, and it was just terrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, I didn't understand the phone VR experiences and what people were going for when they started making those. It's like, I know this is like supposed to be the cheap alternative or something, but it's not good. Why? Yeah, And I that's not me just saying things. I've used the Gear VR before, and it was like, this is not. The Gear VR was worse than my original experience with the Oculus Rift, and I did not like the original Oculus Rift back when they were like still just sending out development, whatever platforms or whatever. So development kits. There we go. So yeah, that's our review of the Daydream View VR with the. I don't like the name. I feel like they just should have called it Daydream VR.
Daydream View. Gotta get the V in there. You gotta get some word V in there somehow.
Yeah, there's a V in there. Daydream VR. There you go. And speaking of views, you can finally view your mods on PS4.
Mods in 4K coming to PlayStation 4 for Skyrim and Fallout 4. We're excited to announce that mod support is coming to PlayStation. It's also coming directly from Bethesda.net. We're excited to announce that the mod support is coming to PlayStation 4 for both Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout 4. Additionally, we'll also be supporting new PlayStation 4 Pro with both titles. Skyrim will have these features when it launches October 28th. The new power of PlayStation 4 Pro has allowed us to make Skyrim render in native 4K, and it looks better than ever. Screenshot. Mod support will come to Skyrim first. We and Sony have worked hard to make this possible. Mods on PlayStation 4 will allow you to modify and create your own content by using our creation kit available at a link. You will not be able to upload external assets with your PlayStation 4 mods, but you will be able to use any assets that come with the game, as most mods do. Blah, blah, blah. We are excited to finally get to modding to our PlayStation fans who have supported us for so long. Modding has been an important part of our games for 10 years, and we hope to do even more in the coming for all players regardless of platform. After the work is complete on Skyrim, we'll be updating Fallout 4 for both mods and PS4 Pro. We expect Fallout 4 to take advantage of PS4 Pro 4K with enhanced lighting and graphics features. Thanks again for all your support. We can't wait to hear about your new adventures. I wonder what changed in just a couple weeks.
Yeah?
PS4 Pro.
But it's not just PS4 Pro, but it's like you non-pro users will be able to do mods. So like clearly something changed.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that the announcement for the PS4 native 4K on Skyrim came out at the same time as the mod support for Fallout 4 and Skyrim Remastered, just because it kind of makes it seem like there's some sort of negotiation going on.
Yeah.
Although I'm of the belief that they decided to cancel mod support just so that they could re-announce it.
Interesting theory.
Because it can't be totally just because of the Pro. Because I remember the timing of these announcements, because like the Pro conference happened, and then fairly close afterwards, Bethesda jumped in and said, "Well, like Sony's not working with us, guys." So that happened post Pro announcement.
Well, sure. I'm saying like they're behind the scenes discussions. Like they probably were trying to get 4K Pro support for these games, and Bethesda said no, and Sony said, okay, well, how about we don't offer you mods? We won't allow mods. And so they had to negotiate some sort of deal there.
Could be. Honestly, I mean, maybe that one Bethesda executive was like, hey, other Sony executive, I'll stop sleeping with your daughter if you just let us put in the mods. And he's like, all right, that's a deal I'll have to take. But,
hey, Yoshida's a really kinky dude.
You took that to a weird direction. I don't know. In all seriousness, I'm just thinking, like, this is all stuff you can do on PC, people. These are all things you can do on PC, and you have even more modding potential because you can use whatever assets you want. You don't have to use the ones that are in Skyrim. So I mean, I know not everyone can afford a nice PC, but just buy a PC. That's my...
Get you and your master race out of here.
It's not even a master race thing. It's just like if you just want to play a specific game, like I will always pick PC over console. But like if it's just like if someone was like, "Hey, I like console," I'm like, "Yeah, that's good. You like your console. Console is just as good as PC if all you're looking for is playing the game." Mm-hmm. But like when it comes to mods, it's like if you want mods, play on PC.
That's fair.
That's that.
If you want any kind of customization, that's pretty much where you gotta go.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, that's just a sad fact. Consoles aren't as open source as PC are. So yeah, that's not even Monster Race. Monster Race. That's
Monster
not even,
Race.
It's not even Master Race. It's just a fact.
Monster Race is like the new Monster Hunter kart game that's coming out.
I would be horribly disappointed. I don't even play Monster Hunter. But speaking of Monster Hunter, something with Nintendo happened.
Once upon a time, it was really hard for a video game to pass through Nintendo's QA department and receive that big golden Nintendo seal of quality that guaranteed you were buying something worth playing. Nowadays, though, it seems like any crackpot with a half-functioning Flash game can get it onto DS or Wii, but that may be changing. Word out of Japan is that Nintendo's QA department is getting an overhaul, which will hopefully lead to a better class of games. The story was originally reported by Nikkeinet, and it's in Japanese, so take our translation, this is Game Informer's translation, with a grain of salt. What the article appears to be saying is that Nintendo's QA employees will be receiving a 5% raise, and part-time and temp workers will be converted to full-time positions in order to boost morale. The article also acknowledges that as games become more complex, the need for good QA becomes increasingly important. Of course, these changes aren't a guarantee that Nintendo will reduce the amount of shovelware that ends up on the DS and the Wii in the future. It will theoretically just be less buggy shovelware. Hopefully, though, this reassessment of the department means Nintendo is ready to play a more proactive role in what games make it into its stores. And that the company finally understands when gamers complain about a drought of good games, it doesn't mean they want a deluge of bad ones.
Ooh, they said deluge. You don't see that word very often.
No, you do not. So Nintendo is going to start treating its QA employees a little bit better.
Good.
Yay! Go you guys! Everybody gets a raise.
Huzzah!
I mean, when I was working in QA, not at all for Nintendo, of course. Well, for another video game company, but when I was working in QA, they treated us really nicely. They got us food 3 days out of the week. And they took us to see the Avengers, the first one, before it was out. That boosted morale real nice when they're like, oh, by the way, if you're working when we have the movie showing, you just get off early. It was like, all right, yes, I will work happily for you for the next 5 weeks. So, good play on Nintendo's part.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how big of a difference it's going to make in their corporate outlook, but it's cool for those employees.
Yeah.
And I think it'll create better quality games, but the initial quality of the game may not differ.
True.
Like the enjoyment factor may not differ, but the overall quality of it will exist.
Are you trying to say that if people don't enjoy it, it's not because it's buggy and broken, it's just because it's a bad game?
Yes.
There you go. There you go. So that's what this is going to do for Nintendo. You won't hate a game because it's broken, you'll hate it because it just sucks.
Yes. Oh, Nintendo. That's their new slogan.
You didn't hate it because it didn't work. It just wasn't good. But yes, moving on, the stories that that are on the list but did not get mentioned this week. The new Beyond Good and Evil is official. That is actually happening. That was announced. Washington State has dropped threat. I don't know when I wrote this, but I must have been tired. Washington State threatens to drop axe on Valve over illegal weapon skins gambling. They were pretty much just like, yo, you need to get this more in line than you already have, otherwise bad things will happen. Gears of War movie is actually going to happen. I don't know who asked for it, but hey, that might actually be kind of enjoyable depending on what they do with it. And there's reasons for why Bloodstained was delayed. I did not read the article. I just put it in there because I thought someone else might be interested in it, and they weren't, so we didn't mention it until now. So you can go read that article on yourself if you want to find out why Bloodstained was delayed.
Can I drop one other news story that I almost talked about, but I didn't because I didn't?
Yeah, go ahead.
Danganronpa 1 and 2 are actually coming to PS4, and there's a collector's edition, which is basically because they want Adam to spend more money.
I saw that, and I thought I put it on the list. Clearly, I did not. That is something to mention.
That's good because that's like a really strong indicator. Not that I was really worried about it, but it's a strong indicator that the third one will be coming to the US.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't worried about that. Yeah.
It also gives people like moi, who might be vaguely interested in playing it once they get some extra money, the chance to play it if they don't want to play it on Vita, because I don't like playing things on Vita.
Fair enough.
There you go. That is the news for this week. We're going to move on into the most interesting part of our show, the Reedus Feetus Quote of the Week.
Games support happiness by giving us more satisfying work or concrete tasks that we can accomplish. Studies have shown that playing a short game, having something concrete that you can accomplish, actually gives you the motivation, energy, and optimism to go back and tackle real work. That is by Jane McGonigal. She was at one time, I don't believe she is anymore, a game developer and now writes books about video games. How do you guys feel about this? Do you believe that playing a game gives you more energy and optimism?
Yes.
To go do real world things.
I think it completely depends on the game and what you're doing in the game, because there have been certain instances where, yes, I got something done and I was screaming and so excited, and there have been other instances where, like, I went through the slog of, like, a boss fight or just a level that was not fair and not fun, and I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go sleep now. So,
yep.
It depends.
Yeah, I agree. I think it totally depends on what kind of game you play, and I think she does mention that playing a short game, like, it's kind of like doing something, maybe on your phone or something, like or something for a short period of time. I know that I've played games and either done really poorly in them or like gotten really stressed out. So like playing like Bloodborne, like getting through a boss in Bloodborne, a couple of times I got up afterwards and my legs were like shaking, just like with adrenaline. And I had to sit back down again. It's like I can't do anything else right now except breathe.
That's the kicker they get you with. They make you a paraplegic so you can't leave and have to keep playing the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a great example was Bloodborne. You get like a huge feeling of accomplishment by pushing forward, and it's even interesting because it does kind of survive or kind of does provide like kind of a short gaming loop, because you tend to focus on playing small sections at a time and just kind of doing them over and over again until you kind of master them, and that's move forward.
Yep. But I don't know. I don't know that I generally, after playing a game, feel like going and doing real work. I usually want to just keep playing a game.
Yeah. Maybe once we all have VRs and they're like a household thing, we can all get Job Simulator, and just that'll be our accomplishment right there. We'll be like, I put a donut into a copying machine and made 50 donuts for my office workers, and they're all really happy. I'm done with work for the day. That's not a fake scenario. That's a thing you can actually do, by the way. Fun fact.
Wait, we can get those jobs?
No, the whole copier thing, making donuts. Yeah. Honestly, I'd be kind of happy if I could do that in real life. I'd be excited. I would probably die of diabetes in like 2 days, but I'd be excited about it. I had one donut, made it into 5,000, and I never looked back.
I think making donuts is a very like attainable life goal, Miles. If you apply yourself, you could work at a donut shop.
Ooh, video game donut shop.
Well, in that case, I just work at like there's a place called Geeksboro that's like it's like an hour away from me, but they're like they're a bar, so they have alcohol and everything. They have snacks. Then they have like a bunch of tabletop games. It's like a massive area. They have like TVs for video games. They host fighting game tournaments, and then down in their basement they have a full theater.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's just like I wish I had hung out there more when I lived in that city.
Like movie theater or like stage theater?
Movie theater.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not like, oh, we have 2 showings of X, Y, and Z. They're like, hey, if you want to come and watch this night, we have 1 showing. Pay for your ticket.
Sure.
Sure. So yeah.
No, I was thinking more like video game themed donut shop.
I mean,
Bake shop, bakery, but video game themed. characters, or it could be just geek theme, to like broaden your base.
If you ever seen Steven Universe, I'd rather just make their donut shop. That made me really happy.
Jordan, have you ventured out to Voodoo Donuts yet?
Yeah.
Do you have
it's good. Blue Star's better. That's all I gotta say.
Voodoo Donuts is not necessarily a good donut shop. It's a gimmick donut shop. Myles, Voodoo Donuts is this place in Oregon. There's one in both Portland and Eugene. It's kind of like really well known. They have like really gimmicky donuts. Like they'll have like maple bars with like bacon on it, or like donut with cocoa puffs on it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The voodoo donut is like a voodoo doll shaped donut with a pretzel stick stuck in it, and when you pull it out, there's jelly inside it.
That's kind of
but somehow they managed, like, because they just make gimmicky donuts, they've gotten like almost unreasonably like famous for it.
I mean, you either make extremely good food or you make gimmick food. That's like the two ways to get famous as a restaurant I've seen. So
true.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, my gimmick is I'm the Sweeney Todd shop. I don't actually kill people, but I do make meat pies exactly like the ones in the book and movie. Hey, come eat this stuff and be weird about it.
Part of me thinks that probably exists somewhere.
Somebody who can actually type and not just like bleed over into the.
You want to find out?
Yeah.
All right,
I'll look.
All right, Jordan's got it.
While he's doing that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the thought from nowhere. It comes to us this week from Brett Williams, our very own. His question is, why do we care so much about review scores? Is it time to do away with them? I'll go ahead and start with my answer. I don't care about review scores. I actually think they should have been gotten rid of a while ago because they're not very helpful. For one, people seem to think that like anything less than an 8 is bad, which isn't true. Usually 8 is like good, and 6, even 6 is like, it's okay. It's, it's not amazing, not bad, it's okay. And it seems like a lot of people just want to see like the quickest answer to their question, which I understand, but isn't always healthy, especially for games, because they just immediately skip down, don't read any of the review. They skip down, read the review score. It's like, oh, this got a 6, I'm not going to buy it. Which is like, I've bought games that have gotten 6s before and really enjoyed them, so I personally don't agree with review scores. I agree with like review summaries. That's almost just as good, is almost as quick, unless someone like just is dyslexic and can't read, then I can understand that. But for the majority of people, review summaries will do just fine.
I think there's no reason to get rid of them because you know what? If you don't like them, you're not going to use them anyways. So
it's valid.
Point there. I think they're kind of useful simply because we do live in a society where we have a lot of video games and it's a potential money sink into these games, and it's good to get a quick and succinct kind of general consensus on what people think of it. I don't think anybody should go by one review score. I certainly don't.
That's true.
But you can certainly go to multiple websites and start to get a picture.
Yeah, I'll concede to that. If you're gonna use review stores, at least use more than one, because in some situations, it could be a site that just like, oh, this person didn't really want to play this game, or isn't really their kind. So,
well, and here's also what I would say is I wouldn't just use a review score alone. I like to get the review score plus like the general summary because I want to know what you think of it, and then like if you didn't like it, I want to see the points on what you didn't like about it. But sometimes there's going to be stuff like, well, I don't really care that much about that part.
Yeah.
If you tell me like the multiplayer is not very good, I don't care.
There you go. Jordan, what's your opinion? And is there a Sweeney
Todd? First off, I found no evidence of an actual Sweeney Todd pie shop, so that is open. We can take that.
I would not suggest it.
But as far as review scores go, I think that you guys kind of have pretty much both sides of the argument well represented, and I feel the pull of both of them. The way I feel about it is I wish that we didn't need them, but I think to some extent that we do. We need some way of being able to talk about the quality of a game in a more specific way than just it was good or bad. And you'll hear a lot of people who will refer to it, they have their own gauge, like it was good, great, fantastic, spectacular, like whatever. in a way, those are scores in and of themselves. We just put numbers on them because it's a lot easier to talk about them that way. So if we didn't have scores, I feel like it would be more difficult for us to discuss the quality of the game, at least succinctly. Summaries are useful when you want to have a long-form discussion about a specific game, but if I want to tell you that Red Faction Guerrilla was a 6, like, now you know basically my opinion on that game.
Yeah.
I think, and I haven't seen them do it as much anymore. I think I really liked the way that IGN used to do it because they gave you a score, but they also gave you pros and cons, so they quantified that score.
Yeah, that's something I do like, and I'm pretty sure they still do it. I thought that was a brilliant idea when they started doing that because it's like it's one step up from the score, I guess.
Right, because I think like a score is well and good. You just need to be able to back up why you gave something the score that you did.
Yeah. Also, another fact that people need to keep in mind: they should probably find reviewers who have a similar taste as they do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I think some people are just like any review will do, and it's like no, because every reviewer has their different preferences, and every reviewer should go into reviewing a game unbiased, but still, there's gonna be like that. Like, I play racing games, and I reviewed a shooter game. I didn't go into it thinking it was going to be a horrible experience, but it kind of was because I suck at shooter games, so...
Yeah, I definitely think you're right. You need to kind of take in context to your... you kind of need to keep the reviewer in context. For example, like, I tend to find IGN scores, for the most part, pretty spot on. My favorite game last year was Until Dawn, and they gave it like a pretty mediocre score, and I think they got that one wrong. Or at least maybe for that one particular reviewer, it wasn't the experience they were looking for.
Yeah. Okay, well, CD Cobb in chat has told me that they did away with the pros and cons, and yep, they did. They did do away with them. Oh, they have the verdict now, the little summary thing. So, that's fine too.
Hey, that's us.
But yeah, they did away with that because of the Too Much Water debacle. And if you don't know what that is, it was when the re-release of Pokemon Sapphire came out, and the reviewer said the game, one of the cons was there's too much water, and everyone just jumped on them because, one, they didn't read the whole review, and two, it was just kind of like, it's Pokemon Sapphire, there's a lot of water in that one, so, but, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was probably a good choice, because it encourages people to just skip to the end.
Yeah.
And read that instead of get the justification for why that's a pro or a con. I think that, not to like toot our own horn, but like our review system is better at least because you have that full paragraph summary that pretty much makes up what the review said.
Yeah.
Though here's in contrast to that is I kind of liked the ability to be able to read towards the end because sometimes if it's a game I'm really excited for, what I want to know is just I want to like a general consensus on whether people are saying it's a game of good quality or not. But I don't necessarily want anything. I almost don't want nothing spoiled for me, other than just to have an idea of where my quality expectations should be. So that's oftentimes I like to be able just to read a couple of points and kind of keep that in mind, and then go back into the review itself once I'm a little ways into the game.
No, that's another interesting question actually. Back when. In the times of my life where I haven't had money, where I had disposable income, where I could just, afford to just buy a game when it's coming out just because. Personally, I actually, once I was sold on a game, like, for example, Destiny, or the current game that I'm sold on, that I don't know if I'll be able to afford it, but Horizon Zero Dawn, when I was in that situation, I actually generally just didn't even care about reviews. I was like, once I've seen enough gameplay and previews, I have decided already it's gonna happen. I'm gonna buy this game, so I don't really care what anyone else has to say about it. Now I know that's not like everyone. I know there's there are a lot of gamers who can afford like one game a year, or they have to get their games during Christmas or their birthday, so they have to see reviews and see that it's okay. But I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Like, as adults who have money to just shell out $60 every few months because the game they see that they're excited for is coming out, do you bother watching reviews at that point?
I do. Like I said, it's just unfortunately in this day and age there are too many studios that even good trusted studios that will try to polish a turd occasionally.
It's true.
Though I did take a kind of a jump on Mafia 3, and there were some warning bells because I don't know if you guys read any of this, but basically they came out and said, guess what? We're not going to have any review copies, which is usually big warning sign there. Though in this case, it seems like from at least what I've played and at least the early impressions I'm getting, that it may not be a perfect game, but this is not a disaster of a game by any means.
Yeah,
sure.
But I took the jump on that one simply because I was so kind of ready for it.
Did they say why they weren't giving out review copies? Out of curiosity.
They didn't really specify. There was a lot of speculation. Like I said, it would be interesting to know why now, because like I said, it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem to be like a disaster of a game. It's not the kind of game that you need to hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Expenses might have been tight for them. That's always a possibility.
There might have been a patch they were working on that they weren't going to let people play without it.
Yep.
That was it. I think I was watching Kind of Funny or something. They said there is a patch that's supposed to be day one, so that was probably
there
why.
was.
Yeah. Because that's the thing nowadays, day one patches, and can't have anyone play early because day one patch.
Yeah, I generally will read a review about a game that I'm interested in, but I'm probably not going to buy. Usually just trying to kind of gauge how the overall opinion is going to be. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, whenever I decide I'm going to get a game, it's pretty much guaranteed that I'm going to get it. And I kind of think quality be damned, and I'll form my own opinion on it. Mm-hmm. That has a lot to do with, I think, just the nature of me being involved with the website and wanting to create material that will be interesting for other people to digest. Yeah, so a lot of the games that I play and the things that I write about are very well connected.
Makes sense. Well, viewers, listeners, watchers, readers, it is now time to go ahead and wrap up the podcast. Thank you very much for hanging out. But our schedule is to record on Sunday afternoons and release the podcast about an hour after we're done recording. And if you want to check out the live recording, go to twitch.tv/mongplays. That's where you can be in chat and talk with us and hang out and all that good stuff. And on top of that, you can email your ideas for questions, or if you have thoughts from nowhere for us, you can email those to contact.mong@gmail.com. So yeah, send in thoughts from nowhere. We have quite a few, but it would still be nice to have more, especially some from our fans. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's @mong.com. The dot is spelled out. So there you can get updates on everything that goes live to the site, as well as everything that goes live to YouTube, and when we're going live on Twitch. So if you want to watch us live, or if you want to see any of our articles and such, follow us there. You can also find us on YouTube at Mong Network or Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays. Mong Network is where podcasts, where stuff things like Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys and Mong Podcasts go up, and Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays, where stuff like Let's Plays go up. Twitch channel, as I mentioned, Mong Plays. Definitely follow us. We'd appreciate it. You can also find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. Just look up Middle of Nowhere Gaming or Mong. And our website, which is, of course, middleofnowheregaming.com. That's where everything goes live. So if we did something, you'll see it there. And last but not least, if you want to help us keep the lights on, because having a website is not free, unfortunately, you can check out our Patreon, which is Middle of Nowhere Gaming. I think one of the donation tiers is still to have Jordan drink a bottle of ketchup. Yep.
And Jordan has no health insurance right now, so that'll probably go over really well.
I don't think drinking a bottle of ketchup would do that much damage to you.
I could very easily.
Are you allergic to tomatoes?
No, but that could be a possibility. You don't know.
I think you'll be all right. I mean, you'll probably be grossed out. You might throw up a little, but I think you'll be all right.
You might throw up a little bit, but
throwing up is natural. Sometimes your body just does that to get something handled, It's like, I gotta go Rambo, get everything out of my mouth and get to the chopper or whatever. Get to the toilet. So yeah, last but not least, if you want to follow us, the hosts, you can find us all on Twitter. Our Twitter names are in our bottom. They're in one of the corners of our little video things. If it looks like an actual name, it's probably the other thing. So mine is Furious Milk. Adam is
Fanboy_Adam.
And Jordan is
JL_Fleur.
Like I was saying, if you want to see how those are spelled, open up the YouTube video for all of 2 seconds. They'll be on screen for all hour of the YouTube video. So just check that out. And yeah, because one of them is not as easy to spell as the other ones. Get a new Twitter handle. But yes, thank you all so much for hanging out, especially in the chat. And if you're watching, reading, or whatever, we appreciate it. Beyond that, everyone have a good one. Now's the time for y'all to say your exit phrases.
Good day and good week.
Ropes and sticks.
I don't have an exit phrase. Have a good one.